Hello everyone, and welcome to game number 8 of our Rogue Arena run here. It's a pretty interesting game, I have to say. It's against the Warlock, and you'll see the Warlock just go absolutely nuts. It's that's free for your own interpretation, of course. But yeah, just entertaining game for sure. So we have an Auto Barber and a Worgen in the opening hand. I feel like that's fine. I don't think we need to fish for, the ringleader per se, because we don't have a coin. So I think this is fine. I don't think we need to ditch the Worgen to look for a backstab. Although I'd probably rather have a backstab than the Worgen. I don't want to have like an Ogre Ninja and a Barber when I could have... Excuse me. Where I could have had a Barber and a Worgen. Right, so makes a lot more sense to do it like that. And we get the backstab anyway, so always lucky, no baby rage. Nice. Not much to do here, but having backstab early is always great, especially in the opponent has like the strongest Warlock opening almost. Gets the Flame Imp, we have the backstab, all is good. So here we are considering using the dagger and then playing the Barber, but that's pretty greedy, puts a lot of damage on our face. There's no real reason to do it, it would be just to preserve the backstab, but there's really no reason. This also just allows you to dagger and then potentially play the Worgen. It also just has outs for every scenario, except for a coin. So for a non-coin scenario, you're in a great spot here. Because if he plays a 2 and 3 like he does now, the Worgen is perfect. Worgen 3-3 versus 2-3, getting the free enrage, amazing. If he had played, say, a Knife Juggler, we would have played the Goblin Auto Barber off curve to use our face into that Knife Juggler. So I feel great, great draws up till now. We have good curve. We had a backstab early, dagger on turn 2, then Worgen and Shredder. So far, so good. He has the Dark Bomb off curve. It was also a top deck apparently. He's still sitting on coin, but so far it's fine for us. We can just play the Shredder into the Trog here. There's the option of playing double Auto Barber to kill his guy. That's a bit weak to Hellfire. Also, I think I'd rather just develop the Shredder on 4, seeing as we have more flexibility. Turn 6 could be a potential Knife Juggler Barber if we draw 5. It's just that if you draw a 3-drop, you can still play a 3-drop and a 2-drop. So I'm a huge advocate of playing on your mana if it's possible. Sometimes you just have to not play on your mana. Like if he had played the Knife Juggler on turn 2, our turn 3 Barber would have been much better. So he rolls a 3, but we get really lucky with the Millhouse. That's really nice. So he's gonna coin here for a Soulfire. So really big tempo plays by the Warlock. Removes our entire Shredder, even with a Millhouse, in 1 turn and gets 3 imps. So fast play by our opponent. We did draw that 5-drop, so remember what I was talking about, that if we saved those 2s, turn 6 could be 2-2-2 and then a 5 on 5. It could also be 2-3 on 5. It was all good. You can just put the Tiger down and take out a 1-1. Could also just play double Barber here and kill his Trog. Not a huge advocate of that. I don't know. I like developing the stealth minion here. I don't want him to give. I don't want to give him a target for potential removal that he might have. We're gonna see that it's a decent call in the end, because look what he has. A Doomguard. This is why I say this guy is going absolutely ham. Discarded his entire hand, played a Soulfire and then a Doomguard. But he's dealing a ton of face damage. We kind of just have to stay in the game here. So here I feel the play is also pretty straightforward. We could take out that Doomguard this turn, but it feels a bit of a waste to just throw the Tiger in there. So for me it seems better to just put the Tiger into the Trog and then put down Knife Juggler, Barber. With the amount of cards we have in our hand, we can be pretty certain of it that he's just going to keep going face and try to burn us out. So we can take advantage of that by playing a bit more greedy. Now, you are going to see me do a slight misplay, which is good, because then, we can learn from mistakes. There are a couple Warlock cards that I didn't play around here, and we get punished for not playing around one of them. So, but yeah, we'll see it in just a second. I'm still debating on taking out the Dread Infernal, the Doomguard, but it's, it makes no sense. Of course, it's a lot easier if you're watching a replay, having played the game yourself, knowing how it plays out. So far we do the right plays. But then this juggle fails to take out the 1-1, and we don't use our face into the 1-1, which in my opinion is a mistake. You're not playing around cards like Demon Fire, not playing around cards like Dread Infernal, Mortal Coil, all these things, because now we can just hit into the juggler, and you know, here I know what time it was. I know he hasn't Dread Infernal top deck. You know, gets the Dread, gets the free kill on the juggler. Would have still had a juggler here. Game would have been in a much better position, but we get a Betrayal. Remember when I was talking in the draft about how Betrayal sometimes will just be a 2-mana Assassinate? Well, this is one of those times. We can just use a Betrayal on the 6/6 to take out the 5/5. Then we can put down the Cultmaster, trade both of our weak minions in the Dread, draw 2 cards, and suddenly we've stabilized and we're in a fairly good position. I guess technically the right order to do this is to put the Cultmaster down and put 1 Auto Barber in the 6/6. Then see what you draw, then Betrayal, and then throw the other one in. But those are minor details. Our draw wouldn't have changed what we would have done. So far so good. We're in a decent position. He's still on 26 health, but we have complete control of the game. We also have a Charge Minion in the hand to react to what he could play, which is gonna draw us a card. So remember when in the draft we were talking about how the Reckless Rocketeer has some synergy with the Cultmaster. Here you could potentially see it come into play, having the charge protecting the Cultmaster, getting us more draws. Excuse me. It looks like we don't need it here. We just put our Tiger into the tank, see what we draw. Seems to make most sense here. I'm a huge fan of just always doing the random element first and then seeing if our play changes based on that new information you got from the random component, in this case being the draw. Doesn't quite change my mind. I'm okay just putting the Force Tank down. We'll put our face into the 1-1 to play around a second Dread Infernal or a Mortal Coil or anything else, a Power Overwhelming or whatever. Want to make sure that we remove it off from the board. So he has a Demon Fire here, but we have 7 damage from the tank, Reckless Rocketeer and Eviscerate in the hand, so quite a close game for quite a while, but the moment we had that Betrayal, we just stabilized and the game was over at that point. So GG, well played. A Warlock that put up a really good fight. If we didn't draw the Betrayal, I think it would have been a lot closer than it was right now. Also our backstab early was just super good, so there we go. 8-0, and yeah, I'll see you guys for game 9.